we're going to deal with some water barrels and some dead weights, because that seems to be a huge question in our industry. Just like a steak, the failure is not when it tips over and the water goes splashing all over the place. The failure is when it becomes a pendulum and it starts moving. This is one of the dangers that I see with water barrels. Number one, they're very slippery. They slide on the pavement. Number two, they become pendulums. In a severe wind, in a severe weather situation, these things, they can actually start swinging around. Now, I only weigh 220 pounds, and if I were to run at full speed and body block one of you guys, that would hurt like hell. Imagine that being 450 pounds, okay? In addition to that, they don't hold the tent in place. When the wind blows, the whole tent starts to move, and it starts to drag the water barrels with it, and that's the problem. Now, is there anything wrong with water barrels? No, if you do it correctly. And to do it correctly, you need to take the values that we're going to present here, the failure value, that this is not a 400-pound weight. It is way less than 400 pounds. And you have to gang many of these together to come up with the equivalent weight of one barrel. And it's usually somewhere between 4 and 5 of these barrels to equal one barrel as far as its effectiveness. Okay? So this weighs, on this scale, it weighs around 500 pounds. The things that are going to come into play here are 2 or 3-fold. One is called the coefficient of friction. In English, plastic is slippery. That's what it means, okay? Plastic is slippery. So it has a higher or a lower coefficient of friction. It slides very easy on the concrete. Concrete against concrete has got a little higher coefficient of friction. In English, concrete doesn't slide against concrete as easy. The other thing that's going to play into effect, how far away from the tent are you going to put these barrels? If you put these barrels out like you would a steak, say 3 or 4 feet away from the barrel, they are absolutely useless. One person pushing on the leg of a tent can tip one of these things over, okay? So they have to be placed relatively close to the tent. Keep in mind, if you're going to use barrels and you got to put sidewall on the tent, you're going to have to leave a gap in between the tent and the sidewall, or tent and the barrel, to get your sidewall in. What we're going to do here is our attachment point is going to be about 2 feet away from the attachment point on the tent. All right? So that means the barrel is going to be about that far away from the tent, and then the width of the top of the barrel, and then that's our attachment point. Third thing that comes into play, what did I show you out there about tying knots off at the top of your stake? Where is my knot? It's at the top of the stake, okay? So those 3 things are what are going to play into the reduction of that 450 pounds of force to whatever it is that we're going to show you here. I don't know what you guys want to call failure here. This barrel is 35 inches tall, so I'm already at 36 inches, and what did I do? We got 200 pounds. Let's go up another inch. Yep, go ahead. Now it is slid, okay? So all I can withstand with this barrel is a 1-inch tip before it starts to rock on the barrel, before it starts to slide. And I had what, 200 pounds? 250. 250 before it jumped, okay? So 500 pounds is not 500 pounds. It's 250. I showed you over there a couple of stakes that hold 250 pounds. What did I tell you about those? They have no place in the commercial tent rental industry. This is the point I'm trying to make. You saw how easy it was for that to tip and move. From a wind standpoint on a 20 by 20 tent, to generate that 200 pounds is about 17 to 22 miles an hour. That's all it takes to start tipping barrels on a frame tent. Anything over that, I would guess when you get into the 35 to 40 mile an hour range, what's going to happen is the tent is going to start to twist. And then the problems that you're going to have here is if that barrel decides to start to pendulum like it did right there, that's going to cause an even bigger torsional twist in the top, and you're going to start breaking legs off at the fitting. You're going to start bending your corner fittings, and the tent may still be there. I guess what you guys have to decide is what's your comfort level, okay? I highly do not recommend to use water barrels anywhere, anytime, anyhow, for any reason, period. I am a huge proponent of dead weights that are made out of concrete that are a minimum of 1,100 pounds. I like to see 1,100 to 1,500 pounds as a dead weight. It's all about money. We're here to make a living. I understand the fact that if these two guys turn down a job because they think like I do and don't want to do a water barrel job, I understand that he'd be more than happy to jump in there. And I know that's a balancing act you're going to have to walk, or a tightrope you're going to have to walk. I wish I could convince everybody in this industry that we should burn all of these barrels and everybody goes to concrete. I don't think I will ever have that power. I just need to educate you as best I can, and you need to see it visually that these things suck and you shouldn't be using them. Okay. So we're at 150 pounds of holding power. So by moving the attachment point down and closer, we were able to increase the initial holding power. He was able to initially load that to 150. And before it started to slide around, he got it up to around 250, okay? We're still 50% of what that actually weighs. I cringe every time I hear guys going, well, I put 500 pounds of water on every corner. The hell you do? It's 250 pounds. 250 pounds is nowhere near enough to hold a frame tent in position.
For more information, visit us at www.gettent.com or call us at 419-586-3610.